Welcome back to Living Local on this Furry Friends Friday, where we introduce you to an adoptable animal and offer pet care tips. Today we're focusing on pet communication. Joining us in studio today is Rochelle Dougal. She's with King's Harvest Pet Rescue. Thank you so much for being here, Rochelle.
It's really good to be back.
Oh, it's the first time I've seen Rochelle since everything went down, so It's so great to see you face to face. And my heart is literally a puddle right now. Please introduce us to our pet.
Yes, so this is Jessie, as you know. She's a little 9-week-old female Chihuahua puppy.
Oh my goodness.
So she's all puppy. She's been up here just chewing on my fingers and wreaking havoc.
But she is adorable, so we will let all the antics slide. What would be a good home fit for Jessie here?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, as a puppy, she's pretty open on her criteria. So she's met cats, done pretty good with them. She's smaller than the kittens we have. So and other dogs as well. She actually went home with one of our employees who has young children, dogs and cats, and Jessie did amazing.
Awesome.
So she would do well in any kind of home.
That is fantastic. And you guys, like, I am sure she's going to get adopted so fast because she is so precious and such a darling little Chihuahua puppy. How can someone go about adopting Jessie?
Yeah, so, you know, due to COVID, we have an online form. That's where we prefer that people adopt, and then you can get pre-approved, come on in, meet the dog of your choice, or you can come in and fill out an application as well.
Wonderful. Well, such an absolute joy to meet Jessie here. Today, Rochelle, we wanted to focus on pet communication. So even though dogs cannot use words, they have their own unique way of communicating with us. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. If you can start to pick up on some of those subtle cues, you can have an entire conversation with your dog.
I love this. I'm so excited to dive deeper into this because I'm always wondering, what is my dog trying to tell me right now?
Yeah.
And one of the things that dogs can do is give us signals that they are stressed out. So what are some of those signs?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, you know, speaking of signals, you want to look towards, you know, their face, their eyes, their lips and teeth and tongue, and their ears and their tail. So signs of stress, I like to call it the whale eye look.
Okay.
Their pupils can dilate, and then you can start to see the whites of their eyes, and they're kind of like, that's the whale eye look.
All right.
That is like an immediate sign of stress. Whatever is happening in that situation, you would want to put an immediate stop to it because there's a potential your dog could react to that situation.
Got it. Very important to note. And one, I guess, sector of stress is fear specifically.
Yeah.
How can we know when our dogs are scared?
Sure. I think, you know, there's been a lot more awareness on fearful reactions recently, and that your dog isn't naughty, they're just scared, and they can only communicate a certain couple of ways. So, you know, looking towards their mouth, their eyes, again, if they're doing the whale eyes. Their tail is a good indicator as well. If it's tucked and it's curled under, they are not having a good time. They're pretty fearful. And anyone approaching that situation could, you know, it could be harmful potentially. So look for those signs, check out their tail, their eyes, and of course their mouth. You know, if they're growling or snarling in any way, listen to them.
Definitely. One thing I notice about my dog Wendy is she definitely does the tail tuck, and then she like does this thing where she like go like this, like with her face, she like gets closer to the ground. So she's in some way trying to protect herself. So that's always a signal to me. Okay, Wendy's scared. We need to fix the situation.
Enough, absolutely.
Right. Well, pet communication actually goes beyond human interaction.
Yeah.
It's actually, you know, you can have pet-to-pet communication as well.
Sure.
So how does that look?
Yeah, so, I mean, as far as dog to human interaction, if a dog is smiling, that's meant just for people. They reserve that only for humans, no dog to dog. But with dog to dog, there are a lot of different little cues and things that dogs do, which I'm sure you've seen. The play bow. So their head goes down, their butt goes up. That's like, it's on, we're playing, let's get to it. There's also the paw slap, where they kind of rear up and just go pop, and they boop you with their paw. You've seen that. That's the equivalent of someone coming up and giving you a pat on the back. It's like, hey, we're cool, we're buddies, I like you. It's also a position that puts dogs in a vulnerable spot. So doing that to another dog says, I trust you, you know, you're cool. And then of course, you know, there's rearing up on their hind legs. That's a show of affection. And barking as well. And barking can be all encompassing for a range of emotions, depending on you know, the pitch and the volume.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you really have to hone in on the tone of your dog to figure out, okay, is this a good bark or is this a bad bark?
Right, yeah, you know, watch your tone.
Yeah, goes for dogs too.
For sure.
Now, Rochelle, any tips or advice that you would give folks who are introducing two dogs for the first time?
Yes, absolutely. Take precautions, read up on it, do your own research, but you know, keep the dogs outside if you're introducing two new dogs to each other. In home, they can be territorial of their space, just like I would be.
Right.
Just like I would. So keep it outside, keep them on a leash, and maybe meet through a fence first. And I know it's not human-like, but you can present one dog's rear end to the other.
Okay.
And that's a nice way for them to get acquainted. Face-to-face can be a little bit intimidating and challenging for a dog, so the rear end is just relaxing for them.
Yeah, I know. It seems weird to us as humans would never do that, but dogs, they're a different kind of creature.
Right.
And they sniff each other that way to get to know each other. So that would make sense to introduce them that way for the first time. I love it. So many great tips, Rochelle. Thanks so much for being here. And again, thank you for introducing us to sweet Jessie. Jessie is up for adoption, you guys. If you'd like some more information, you can visit King's Harvest Pet Rescue. We will also have all of those details posted on ourquadcities.com.